Let's see. Okay, well, welcome. We are on Temple of the Divine TV. I'm your host, High Priestess Makita Divine, and we have a great show planned for you today. So we have our guest here, Rogelio Diaz. Welcome, Rogelio. And we have Yvette. We have another guest who may be joining us, which is totally cool. And so, what we're going to do today is we're going to have an interesting kind of review of things in the matrix is our one topic, and that's when we talk about current events. Then we'll talk about in the vortex, in the spirit, in the mind, in the body, and it's going to be a great time. So, Rogelio, before we get started, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get right into the content.
Sure, Crystal. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me, my friend.
You're
I'm super excited to be here, right? And yes, so I am a shadow work integration coach and spiritual development speaker.
welcome.
And what I do is I like to help and guide people into shining massive amounts of awareness to their traumas so then they can integrate them and release them. Right. So just healing inner child core traumas, wounds, stuff that maybe is lingering in the subconscious. I like to bring that to light. Right.
So lingering in the subconscious. Okay, great. One second. Let me just. I'm having a difficult. Okay, here we go. So anyway, that's amazing. So what we're gonna go is in the matrix. What we want to talk about is I had an article. We're looking at Omicron and all the stuff with COVID happening, and so I wanted to look at it from a spiritual perspective and just say, a lot of times we hear stuff about what's happening in reality and what is reality. What is your take, Rogelio, like when you're talking about shadow work and you're helping people? What are some of the challenges that you're seeing now that you think might be related to the current environment that might be different than what it was before?
Hmm. What I've been seeing, Crystal, when it comes to the Matrix and everything that's been happening, trying to escape it, right? One trying to escape it, and maybe even like acting as if it's not really happening,
Like I
right?
can't like that.
But yeah, like not even looking at it for a split second of what is really occurring right now.
Mhm,
Um, and that to me is being delusional
mhm,
because
mhm.
you can one thing is to stay in alignment and stay on your path and focus on yourself and your spiritual development, your growth. But
Right,
another thing is to just completely avoid what is happening, right?
right,
And not realize that everything that is happening right now is for a greater purpose,
right,
right?
right.
Not saying to abide, not saying to bow down and give away your power, but I'm saying to at least observe so you can know what's happening, maybe what's about to come, what's about to hit.
Mhm,
And a lot of us like in the or at least I used to, Crystal. I used to just completely think that whatever is happening in the matrix and the external world would never affect me. And it's a
mm,
lie. It's a lie. It's about preparation. It's about maneuvering through the matrix, not
right,
escaping or avoiding it. Right? Does that make sense, buddy?
right. So how do you help people like someone comes and they talk to you about different things that are going on? What are the biggest challenges that they have with making that connection to going from seeing the reality and really being kind of pulled into it versus being actually an observer of what's going on around them? How do you help them through that?
Amazing question. And you actually just used some of the key words, my friend. So what I live by and what I encourage people to do is to, like you said, observe, not indulge, not absorb. Don't intake what is happening,
Okay,
right?
okay,
Don't allow yourself to get swallowed by this negative current, so to speak.
uh-huh,
Because once you do, now you're in a loop and it's not serving you whatsoever, right?
Right,
You're trying to control something that's completely out of your control,
right, right,
right?
right,
You can influence your reality and what happens in your life, but there's only so much you can influence when other
right,
powers are being at play, right?
right, right, right. But
So
it's go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
Just to cap it, Crystal, that's really what I'm getting at is to continue to observe what is happening and maneuver and plan for your
Hmm.
future,
Hmm.
but don't try to control something that you literally cannot.
Exactly, exactly. I got you. I got you. I now I think one of the things so in the matrix, so that's really a great kind of viewpoint to take, being in the matrix and being surrounded by different things that are happening with us. I love that. And that's a good segue to go to kind of our new segment, the next segment, which is in the vortex. So I don't know, are you familiar with Abraham Hicks at all, the work that they do?
Yeah.
So I found a clip, which I'm not sure if I get it to run, but I had a clip from, there was a cruise that they did. Let me see if I can get it to work here.
Okay. Also, real quick, Crystal, Yvette said that she's trying to hop on.
Okay, we have another guest that's coming in. We just need the engineer to let her in. Hi, Yvette. Are you in?
There she
Huh?
is.
Hey,
I
you.
think so.
Hey, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Awesome. So we were just, Rogelio, we were just talking about in the Matrix. So that segment where we were talking about kind of when things happen in the world, like how do we connect that from a spiritual perspective? Because you guys are shadow worker coaches. How do you help? How we help people through? So with you joining us now, would you like to share that kind of the perspective of how the work that you do has changed from pre-COVID to now, and how you're helping people through being able to deal with those things?
So pre-COVID, I remember a lot of people, it was a little difficult to get them to see my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But now that all this COVID stuff happened and the reality changed, everything, they were basically forced to go within and look at themselves and see
Right.
like everything from a different perspective, because it's like, oh, food is going down, or oh, this is people are treating themselves this way. So I've gotten a lot of people that I've helped by just being myself. And
Okay.
the biggest thing is me shining my light and staying positive, trying to help people show them the way,
Mm-hmm.
because basically I had to go within and see things from a higher perspective for other people.
Right. Right. Okay. Excellent.
Because if if I stayed or was aligning to their frequency and vibrating at their sim vibration, then we would all go down.
Right. Right. Because we kind of feed off each other. Awesome.
Yeah,
So the next segment is in the vortex, and this is based on kind of the vortex concept from Abraham Hicks. Are you familiar about with Abraham Hicks, the work
yeah,
that they? Okay, awesome. So as we were talking about, the current situation with COVID, there was a group of people, those that community, they were out on a cruise, and I'm not getting my let me see if I can get this to play, but they were actually,
No matter what.
yeah, I don't think this is gonna work. Okay, I got an echo. But so I'll paraphrase. So in this video clip, what they're saying is they're talking about how in their world it was almost like COVID didn't exist. So they were on a cruise, and they were talking about there's no virus that is greater than the virus of fear. How much do you think, like from a spiritual perspective, because you guys are spiritual coaches and shadow work coaches, how do you how much do you think of the issues that people are having are just because of the situation that is existing versus that's amplified by fear, amplified by looking in the media? Like for me personally, if I don't see the news, COVID doesn't exist, right? So just wondering your perspective on how much of this is just magnified by media and other things. I don't know who wants to go for, if you want to go first, Rogelio, on your viewpoint.
I'll take a shot at it, Crystal. Yeah. Love that. Love that question. So much to say on that, my friend. So much to say on that.
Let's go. We're chopping it up. This is real
Yes.
talk. Yes.
Yes,
Real
it is.
talk. Real talk. Real talk.
First off, I love what they did, going on that cruise and acting like, it wasn't there, right? The
Right.
COVID, so to speak. And I think it's such a paradox because from one perspective, yeah, it doesn't exist, right?
Mm.
But from another one, it's like it's the illusory illusion that it's real, right? And I think 99%, honestly, um, of this again virus that's happening is fear, right? I think 99% of it is fear because it's being pumped into you of what's going to happen if you don't get the jab, or it's like it's so they're trying to ingrain it so much into you, to the fact where it's causing diversity, it's causing fear, right? It's causing you to completely
Yes.
surrender your power and make you believe that you're powerless, and that's what fear does, right? So I think that it's a huge part. It's a huge part. And from what I know, guys, fear is a product. It's a product that's being served on a freaking dish right now.
Mhm.
And so many people are buying into it, right? Because they trust our government. They trust the people that are running our country. And there's just so much that we don't know. So
Right.
much that we don't know.
Right.
And right.
Yep.
So I think it is. It's like it's fear is definitely running the show, but it's also a paradox because like even in my reality, Crystal, Yvette, it doesn't really exist, but I'm aware of it. Like I don't believe I'll get COVID, but I'm aware that what is happening outside of me.
Mhm.
But I call BS. If,
Right.
if I got sick, I think I just got sick. Like,
Right. Right. You're not propagating it in the environment or in the ether, making more of it because thoughts are things. And then the more you think it and the more other people think it, then it gains momentum. And it's like this all of a sudden this big thing. But if
Right.
you decide, like call BS on the momentum and you're just living your life, it decreases in the way that it, affects you, I would say. So, Yvette, I want to get your viewpoint, but before I do, let's take a quick station ID. You're watching Temple of Divine TV, Real Talk for the Walk, here on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station on the world, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Do make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, call 313-355-6018, ask any questions that you want, or make a comment. And if you love Real Talk for the Walk, you want to keep the Real Talk coming, then definitely support us on Cash App at $MD Temple of Divine. And we're so glad that you are here. So make sure to call. If you have questions about what we're sharing, the information, then definitely call in. Okay, so Yvette, what do you think? Talk to us.
So for me, it's the same thing. I honestly, personally, I don't watch the news very much for that same reason because they're just instilling fear. They're just trying to make you more anxious. I work at a hospital
Oh, wow.
and we have to change the way we take care of patients, the way that we take care of, because I work in the mental health and rehab.
Oh, wow.
So we have to change our ways of being because of COVID, because of a COVID exposure.
Okay.
And what people don't realize is that you having to wear the mask, you having to wear the gowns, and going out in public is subconsciously telling you to be afraid so they in the form have a control. And,
Yes.
and I and I've always thought that I'm like, why are they doing that? And I actually read something that if you cover your face, it dehumanizes you. Like not seeing, recognizing people, it disconnects you from a form of human interaction without seeing their smile. So that's what I feel the government and everyone is instilling in everyone and putting into everyone's heads. So you start to disconnect. There's I've been seeing some like suicides have been going up.
Mm,
Um what's the anxiety has been going through the roof.
uh-huh.
Everybody's been having psychotic breaks.
Wow.
People have been, going back to drinking and drugs because they have no way out. And it's just this fear that they're instilling. And
Right.
it's the fear that's feeding this virus and everything because and people might be like, "Oh, you're crazy, this and that," but I've actually seen that people that are afraid of COVID and like getting COVID, when they get it, they're the ones who get affected the most by it.
Right.
And
Because
people that just see it as a virus or whatever, or like a regular sickness, it goes through us like if it's a flu or a cold. But people that are scared of it, I've noticed that they're the ones who get affected the most.
wow, wow. Do you think it's like it's not it's kind of like okay, you already have the fear, right? Because it's all around you. But then if you establish that fear of what's going to happen to you if you get it and you get it, it's almost like you amplify the impact of it in your body. Would you say that I mean is that what would happen maybe? That's why they get more impacted?
Well, I feel it is because you're calling that in. That's what you're vibrationally aligning with.
Mm,
And fear and stress brings down your immune system.
mm.
So it's
It's
like a mixture of like everything. Because if you think about it in a logical way, stress brings down your immune system. And then if you think about it in a spiritual, energetic way, that's what you're aligning with and calling in.
mm, awesome. Okay. Anything you want to add? And feel free to chime in. Like, let's have a conversation. So if you want to chime in, Rogelio, then definitely let's do that. So that's really helpful. And just for if you're watching, as you're watching this, I want you to think about like what has been the impact in your life, and definitely take advantage of the resources that we have here with people who are experienced in helping with shadow work and helping you kind of work through the details of those things that you may be going through in your mind. Definitely call in at 313-355-6018 and get some help, because help is here. So thank you so much for that. So our next segment is called In the Spirit. And this is where we talk about like spiritual tools. And so you guys are great guests for that. I was asking, I don't know if you can go into a little bit more detail about what is shadow work and like how does someone know this shadow work can help them, kind of just for those of us who don't know, like what is it, just the 3-year old version of what is shadow work.
Gotcha, Crystal. So to me, shadow work is looking at those extremely uncomfortable experiences that you've gone through,
Uh-huh.
and not only feeling the lower emotion, right? And again, that's just emotions. They're just labels, in my opinion, guys, because there's no like a lower emotion, a lower frequency is still just an emotion. It's just still just a feeling, right? So to me, it's going back into those moments, those experiences where you were quote unquote traumatized, where you developed some kind of limiting belief, or block, and you felt that, and that's where the integration comes in, right? You felt that, so you can become whole again. And what happens literally is when you once you actually heal, um like a piece of your it's hard to go back and forth between like the physical aspect of healing and like the spiritual, right? Like the energetic part.
Right.
But I'm going to do this to the best of my ability to explain it. So what happens is once you're doing shadow work and you're looking at fractals of your spirit that were again traumatized, right? And you're feeling them, Now that what people don't know is what tends to happen is um when you develop a trauma,
Uh-huh.
literally it's like a piece of your fractal, a piece of or a fractal of your spirit almost dissipates from your soul. And once you feel that, it's like you're getting a fractal of your soul back.
Mm.
Right? Does that make sense, guys? Like you're able to, yeah, energetically call it back in, and it's how you start finding more of yourself as well.
Yeah, because it's like, and because I'm like a big Abraham Hicks, like it's my hot um mentor, I guess you would say these days. And so it's kind of like nothing ever goes anywhere, right? So you're saying that piece that hurting piece is out there, and it needs to be healed. And if I just don't pay attention to it, the pain never goes away. It's still there, and everything I think about and I do. But if I go through this process, this is a shadow work, then I'm drawing it back in, I'm looking at it, I'm dealing with it, and then I get a piece of my soul back. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. That's
Okay.
right, Kristen.
Okay. If
And
that
it's yeah.
oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, buddy.
Well, for me, it's like basically what Roy said. So for me, it's going back in and facing those demons. I call it demons, because the reason I call them that is because they follow you and they're with you, and so you finally face them and
Mm-hmm.
get them out of your energetic field. That's the reason that I put it that way, is that I face my own demons.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go in and deal with that shadow work, the way that I do it, because I also practice Reiki and energy work,
Uh-huh.
I basically fill those spots with light. And what that is you're basically re like putting your aura back to how it was, and bringing in those soul fragments, like what Roy said, like filling up those spots again, bringing pieces of your soul back. Because basically, when you have traumas, your energy kind of stays there until you pull it back.
Mm.
It's like you're leaving parts of your soul there until you pull it back.
Oh, looks like we have a couple. Hi, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, yes. Welcome.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for this topic, for this show. It's not what you typically see on any type of platform, especially regular standard type television, cable. So I appreciate the information.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh,
You're welcome.
beautiful.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Are you still there? Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. So now, as you were talking about the energy, I was one. So, how do I put this? My question. So, how do you get people, or how do you help people to understand, like when you're doing Reiki? Is it something you just experience, or is it something where there's kind of a mindset that people have when they come to you? Like, how does the Reiki work? What is that experience like? We're kind of into our
So
inner spirit segment. I mean, so
it's
yeah.
a, so with Reiki and any kind of energetic work, the person has to be ready and open to it, or else they will not feel it, or it won't do anything, or it'll just be like they're just sitting there, like they'll have that block,
Mm,
and nothing. I can't do anything. They can't do anything. I can try to pull energy out or try to heal certain parts, because so with me, I feel what they're feeling. So if somebody's feeling anxiety, or there's anxiety or a certain trauma that they were going through, I feel what they're feeling.
mm,
So that's what I start to pull out. But I can't pull it out unless they're ready.
mm,
And basically, the person has to be ready to face their own trauma and their
mm,
shadows and everything. Because, like I said, I always tell people, I can't help you if you don't want to be helped. I can hold your hand to help and support you, but I cannot hold your hand to do it for you. You can't do it for people. You can show them the way, but you can't do it for them. You can't walk their path.
Right. All right. Anything you want to add, Rogelio, on this?
Yeah, yeah. Yvette explained it perfectly, and Yvette's actually done Reiki on me, Crystal. So I'm a huge fan of what she does, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty limited when it comes to what I know about Reiki healing, but I will say that I do know. What I do know is that you, after a session, you feel a tremendous amount of peace, of clarity, of alignment, right? You feel like connected to the spirit within immensely. And I do know it is, like Yvette said, it's clearing, it's moving energy within your aura, within your energy field. And that by doing that, it causes healing within your vessel. So I know there's so many benefits to doing Reiki healing, and it's just like that next level of energy work, in my opinion.
Wow. Okay. Very
I
good.
actually, so I don't mean to interrupt. I do a lot now more so than Reiki. Everybody people come with their own, what you call light language, or their own, everybody has their own codes. And that's more of what I've been doing, like to pull the energy out. Because as you do Reiki, it just opens up this whole new world of just energy and everything for you, and then things just start coming in and you start to see clarity, like Roy said, of what you're meant to do and who you align with here on earth.
Okay. So tell me about the codes, like everyone's energy code, because like I've been told that that I absorb a lot of other people's energy. Like I'm not Reiki or anything like that, but I've had like readings where someone has said, oh well, I see that you draw a lot of other people's energy, and she gave you a grounding meditation, all that. Can you share, like, for the audience, for the viewers, like a little bit about our makeup, like the energetic body? Because I think a lot of people, I mean, we have trouble connecting with the fact that we are divine, because we don't really understand that we're really spirit and we have energy, and that's the way we draw things to us. So if you could educate us on the spirit body and what we're made of, and kind of like, what are we made of? So who wants to take that? Is that
I thought that was a question for Yvette, Crystal.
oh too? I'm thinking that maybe she's thinking about it. Thinking about it. Is that? Oh, maybe she's
Was that
Are you there, buddy?
your image is frozen.
Oh, I think there's probably some lagging going on.
Can you hear us though? We can keep talking if you can hear us.
Maybe.
Oh,
is it?
oh, there you go. There you go.
There
You're
you
back.
are.
I don't know if I just froze.
Yeah,
You
you
did.
did for a minute. But so what I was asking about is, you know what? Before we do that, let me take a station break. So you're watching Temple of Divine TV, broadcasting or streaming live on
Okay, yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it just froze.
Okay, 1 second. Let's a quick station ID, and then we'll get you back on here. So you're watching WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And if you like Real Talk, Temple of Divine, Real Talk for the Walk, you want to keep the Real Talk flowing, then definitely support us with your donations at on Cash App at $MD Temple of Divine. So, okay, so let's go back. Oh, we lost her. Like we lost that. Okay, so let's keep going. And then when she joins us back, we'll pick up the conversation on that topic. Now, the other thing is we're in the mind is another segment on the show. We'll move to that segment. And I was watching this video earlier this week, and it's Elon Musk is talking about the challenge that he had creating the autonomous vehicle. And so he goes and he says, well, yeah, I thought it was hard, but it's much harder than I thought it was. And that means a lot coming from Elon. But what's fascinating, and I want to hear your perspective from a spiritual perspective, is when he goes into detail about how the mind works. And he talks about how one of the challenges is creating a vehicle is the camera, because the mind actually paints in your peripheral, which I thought was really fascinating. So my question for you guys from a spiritual perspective is, what is real? How real is real from your perspective? How real is real? And I think of like this commercial that used to come out. It was on Real or Memorex. I'm dating myself with this woman. She would do like, woo, like this opera thing. And then they go, is it real or Memorex? So what's your perspective on how real is real? Because the fact that my mind is constantly filtering out my periphery, and my mind is painting in and only giving me what I'm looking for, I'm thinking law of attraction. What are you guys? What's your perspective on that? How the mind works? And seeing, and how things are all around you, but you don't really even see everything that is around you. Your mind is constantly filtering.
Absolutely love this topic, Krista. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think that it's as real as your perception of it, because some people think that perception is even more real than reality, because
Right.
whatever you're perceiving, it's real to you,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So perception, Crystal, is what I would say, depending on what your perception is of what's happening around you, that's what I think makes it real or unreal, right? Like it's just I think it really depends on the person from one perspective, but also everything's made up of energy, right? Everything has atoms. So we know we live in an energetic world, or universe.
Right.
So it's real because of our senses, of our sensory systems, right? We can smell stuff, feel stuff, touch, and hear.
Right.
But that's what gives us the illusion that it's real. But it's real because we're here, but it's also not real because it's like a 3D realm, right?
It's like we're in
So
a video game, kind of.
yeah, literally, and like the old cliche say of you're the star of your movie, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so we're always. I think it was Thomas Edison and and I can't recall the other name, but point is they said that our brains are transmitters of frequency, and we're constantly transmitting frequencies and receiving frequencies. And I think it's the same with our visuals, my friend, right? Because I forgot, well, somebody also said like it's only real as soon as we stare at it, right? As soon as we're beaming frequency into whatever we're looking at. So that's also, again, that's what makes it's not like our like the universe is being projected inward. We're projecting outward the
Mm.
universe,
So we're
right?
creating our own reality.
Oh yeah, so many ways.
Okay.
So it's in our brain. It's not happening to our brain, but it's in our brain, and it's projecting out into the physical realm.
Wow. And that's the whole fear thing, right? It's like you could look at something that's fearful, but until you actually bring the fear in and say, okay, I'm afraid, that's when it becomes more fearful for you. Is that like the way it works? Like
Yeah,
what
repeat that one more time, Crystal.
I'm saying, like, so I'm saying, like, if I look at something and it's a fear, like, two people can look at the same thing. One person can look at it and be totally afraid. The other person can look at it and go, that's nothing. So my reality is going to be different depending on how I looked at it, how I perceive that thing to be. Is that
100%. And
Yeah.
from a psychological standpoint, Crystal, Yvette, it's all decision and meaning. And that goes back
Yeah.
to trauma too. You make a
oh,
decision of what that means, and then you give it meaning. And that's why it's
oh,
negative or it's positive in your realm.
wow.
Decision and meaning, my friend. You'll go back to anything. You'll realize, like, oh, you get two people happen to that they experience the same exact thing, but they both made a different decision and gave it a different meaning. And that's what makes their experience different.
I've never heard it put that way before. Thank you for that. So, what do you say, callers? What do you think about this? This is really some kind of like next level thinking here that I really believe that if you embrace it, will really help you to manage through and deal with a lot of things that are being experienced in our lives today. Yvette, what do you think about? I mean, kind of what's your take on that?
For me, it's the same thing. I always say that a person understands the level of perception. So you can, like he said, you'll show them the same thing, and they'll feel and take whatever they want to. Like, okay, I want to look at the color about that color brown, and point out every single thing that is brown in your reality in the room where you notice, like, kind of whatever you choose to feel, right, that's what you're going to get. Like, you're basically kind of like you're putting the way I'm seeing it is like you're putting that energy and putting it in your pocket or taking it with you, or like you're holding it with you.
Okay.
So it's like if you want to be, then you're going to be happy. If you're gonna
we lost the
You're having technical difficulties with Yvette today, huh?
Yeah, I saw we were having a little. There she is. We lost you for a minute, Yvette. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
We lost you for a minute. Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit, and then we lost you. But thank you for sharing, like, really your reality. So how do you so most of your clients, like, how do you reach people? Do you have like social media that you use, that you prefer? Like, do you have a preferred channel for meeting people to help them through things around perception and reality and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, Crystal. My main platform is Instagram.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But I also like doing newsletters, and so I mainly produce content like this, talking about shadow work, talking about mindset, talking about awareness, right? And really, I'm a big fan of and believer in getting people to guide themselves, right? So I like being like a mirror. I like being a mirror, and I say stuff that I've gone through, and I make content about stuff that I've learned, wisdom that I've accumulated, and I just spit it back out, and it always seems to resonate with people that follow me, because we're all a reflection in one way or another. And so that's I mainly produce content on Instagram. And my handle is at Dark Warrior Shadow.
Dark Warrior Shadow. What about you? What is your preferred platform or way to I guess I'm asking, where can the viewers that are too shy to call in at 313-355-6018? You got questions. I know you do, because this is really good stuff. But those people who haven't quite got up the nerve to call, it's kind of like, where do they reach to get this kind of help? Because the mind is really powerful, and you guys are doing work to help people kind of process through all that.
Where you can find on Instagram, that's my main platform where I meet most of my clients, my content, what I write, and I think I like messages that I'll just get a message that I feel people need to hear, and then I out there and they say they needed it, or I honestly, because another way that I work with energy is through it. So it's and put out my positive energy out there for people. And my Instagram is at infantgoddess127. And the way that I like to look at it is kind of like a radio station. People that are meant to be aligned with you, they will tune into your radio station.
Okay, very good. It's kind of like that kind of law of attraction thing. Like people, you send out the vibe, and at least that's been what I feel. I feel like people are coming to me when I need them almost. It's like when you're mentally at a certain point, then it's kind of people just come. Like you guys, you wonderful guys or people, spirit people. So I was like, what am I talking about? So the next, okay, so we're doing really, really great for time. There is another segment I wanted to do is called In the Body. And in the body is like it's talking about the spiritual impact of the things that we do that are in that have an impact on our body. So we talked about fear and we talked about fear and we talked about how we can perceive something in our minds and we almost kind of like you experience a worst case of an illness because of you know the mental aspect. What are some stories or reflections that you have of cases where you can make that connection where you talk with someone or you meet with someone or you've known someone and you can see how their thinking was affecting their body? Like, do you have any examples of how that might be?
Hmm. Wow. That okay. Yeah, that really hits home with me personally, Crystal.
Mhm.
Definitely. I exhibit A, my friend.
Oh,
Exhibit A.
okay.
So, what's something I don't really talk about, guys, and share is I had a huge lesson and a huge experience that happened to me. Yeah, 4 years ago, around like roughly 4 years ago, and it's where I've had a built up of trauma, of negative thinking, and negative habits, right? Because your thinking affects your habits, it affects your action, so it's all intertwined. So, I had a manifestation that happened to me, and it was a clear reflection externally of what was happening internally,
Mm,
right? So 4 years ago, I was hit with adrenal fatigue and CNS burnout,
mm,
central nervous system burnout, right? And it was just from it was from I used to be an alcoholic, Crystal Yvette, everybody listening. I drank every other day for a year and a half, and I was trying to escape, right? It was an
mm,
accumulation of trauma coming up, and I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't look at it, right? And my thinking was off. I was thinking more negative. I was feeling like a victim. Life was against me. I was the unluckiest person in the world, right?
mm.
Thought
Right.
patterns, really. And that was creating bad habits, and me trying to escape from my trauma was creating bad habits. And I was asking the wrong questions, my friend. Instead of how can I heal and feel what I'm going through, the question I was asking is how the hell can I escape? How can I stop the pain? How can I stop hurting? As many people that face addiction do. So
Mm,
again, the internal mental thought processes and what was happening in here, they manifested physically in my body.
mm,
When after a year and a half of drinking heavily, I also turned to stimulants to feel good because I wanted to feel something else. So strong stimulants, caffeine, up to like 1,100 milligrams of caffeine per day sometimes,
wow.
and
Is that
horrible.
100 cups of coffee?
Huh?
Milligrams of caffeine. Like, what is that? Is that like,
It was a combination of pre-workout stimulants, like
oh,
strong pre-workout stimulants and caffeine, right?
gotcha. Okay.
So that, and again, eating horrible food, just fast food and burgers and tacos, and not caring about my health. I was neglecting myself in so many ways, and that manifests into a physical manifestation when I woke up one day and I was so tired. I was so tired. That day I took a pre-workout, and then it did the complete opposite. Instead of boost my energy, it dropped it right down. My eyes started feeling extremely heavy. I
Wow.
started having brain fog.
Wow.
I literally had like no energy. It felt, the best way I can describe it, my friend, imagine your soul has been sucked out of you,
Mm.
literally. And so it's like, but it takes time, right? It takes time to accumulate. And with unless you address those traumas, those thoughts that are they're giving you indicators of what's happening internally, right? Unless you look at that, it will manifest into the physical realm. And again, the fear, I was afraid as well of what was going to happen. Well, how my future was looking. Is this going to be the rest of my life? Just, like just drinking and doing nothing with it. So again, those thoughts and habits accumulated into going through that experience.
Wow, that's intense. Let me take a quick station ID. You are watching Temple of Divine TV, real talk, real talk for the walk on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and other top social media platforms. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. And if you want to keep the real talk coming, then definitely we appreciate your support on Cash App at $MD Temple of Divine. So we are really having we're really chopping it up here on some real intense stuff that people are experiencing right now, right? I mean, when you talk about drinking and different things like that, I mean, this is like 10x, right? And so really appreciate you being vulnerable, Rogelio, and sharing that, because somebody really needed to hear that, like for real. So, Yvette, did you want to share anything around that body, mind, spirit connection?
Yes.
Okay.
So for me, I'll say, myself, because as you do more of this work, you become more aware of yourself, your body, and what happens. So with me is I used to deal with a lot of depression, suicidal thoughts, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that when I would hang out with certain people, or if I was doing certain events, like let's say going out to drink or partying, and ignoring, for me, it was my purpose and to shine my light and to help others. When I would ignore it, I would start to get tired. I would feel my depression coming back on again. If I started eating like unhealthy or not paying attention to myself, then like basically self-love or routines that make me happy, I would start eating unhealthy. I'd get off track with my workout routine. I wouldn't have the motivation to work on my business and, fill my own cup and feed what truly makes me happy. I
Oh,
just, I basically go back down that dark hole if I don't fill my own cup or do what makes me happy or align to the things that I'm being called
right.
to do that day, even if it's just something simple.
All right. Yvette, we have a caller on the line. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hi.
Do you have a question or comment?
Yes, I have a question about how can Reiki help people who have a slow lymphatic system?
Okay. How can Reiki help people with slow lymphatic systems? That sounds like a
Yes,
question for you,
like
Yvette.
the digestive system is sluggish, and there's a lot of not a lot of flow in the lymphatic system.
Okay. Thank you for that question. You want to take that, Yvette? You want to take that question?
So what I'm getting is that it has to do, because with Reiki, all of this it goes back to a trauma or some certain blockage. It's either a blockage in a certain chakra, which when your chakra, I don't know if you guys know what the chakra system is. So when you have a certain blockage in a chakra, it goes back to a trauma or a blockage that you've had. So let's say that if you have a slow lymphatic system, then it could be something there that maybe you're not seeing. And Reiki, usually what it does is I go into your energy system and then I start to pull out, and Reiki starts to pull out whatever is blocking. If you're ready, it will start to pull out what is causing that blockage and what is causing you to feel tired and to feel just strained and like it's not working the way that it should be. And then as I'm pulling out the energy, I'll also get the message of what is causing that. So in the future for you, you can start to see what is causing that so you don't bring more of that energy in.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. I hope that's helpful for you, caller. And you know what? We are, believe it or not, we are almost out of time. I cannot believe that the time has gone by this fast. You guys are total rock stars. I really appreciate you being here. I know that you have helped a ton of people, and they're going to continue to be helped. We're going to go ahead and post your contact information below this video. I think I have your web address. Is there any really quick closing comment? Am I out of time? I might be out of time. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you. I think that this in the body section or in the spirit section needs to be like have a regular person like every week to just call in and field questions on that particular practice. I want to add that in. So I may reach out to you guys and just say, hey, can you be my weekly Reiki person? Can you be my weekly, shadow work person? Because people have questions and there's really not a whole lot of places to go. So thanks again.
Yeah.
Thank you, viewers. You have been watching Temple of Divine TV on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter,
Yes.
other top social media platforms. Come back next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern for more real talk for your walk. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time.